Welcome to the Bouldering Progression Series. These videos are designed to help guide you through your journey and development as a climber on the bouldering walls. The series is split into several parts, with each part addressing a certain stage in your bouldering skill level. We'll go over the requirements needed to competently climb a specific grade range. You've now entered the advanced grade of V7 and above. Crossing this threshold is typically reserved for the hard workers or the naturally talented. To be successful at this stage, your technique should be sound, but more importantly, you have to be strong. This is where most people fall short and experience their first plateau. That's why this video is focused mostly on the training components of climbing. We'll take a look at exercises to increase strength, develop power, and finish with advanced techniques. In climbing, strength is centered around the fingers. Since your hands are what forms the primary connection with the wall, finger strength becomes a crucial physical component. The stronger your fingers, the more freely you can move into different positions, and the longer you can hold on and stay on the wall. The most effective and methodical way to train finger strength is to use the Hangboard. If you've made it to V7, then it's likely you will have climbed for at least a year, and your tendons are developed enough for this type of training. If you're under 15 years old, or some sort of adult prodigy who's been climbing less than a year, I would withhold from using the Hangboard just yet. There are various Hangboard protocols, but the most common is the 7-3 interval. This means each repetition consists of 7 seconds on and 3 seconds off. A typical Hangboard workout would look like this: 7 different hangs or hand positions. Each hang consists of 7 repetitions. Each rep is 7 seconds hanging, 3 seconds rest. After each hang, rest 2 minutes and 30 seconds before the next hang. The different hand positions can vary depending on what you want to focus on, but they generally include half crimp, 3-finger drag or open hang, slopers, pinches, and pockets. You can design your own workout or use a Hangboard app and follow their progression. Hangboard workouts are quite tough on the fingers and should be done carefully and conservatively. Start your workout after a thorough warm-up and never at the end of your climbing session. Depending on how conditioned your fingers are, you may want to only complete 1 set, which is around 20 minutes, before working up to completing 2 sets. After your workout, it's best to allow your fingers to rest for 48 hours before climbing again. Frenchies are a great way to train lock-off strength at different bend angles. It's even more effective when combined with the Hangboard, as you can train both fingers and scapulae simultaneously. If you're new to finger strength training, start on the deepest holds on your Hangboard. These should occupy from 2 to 3 pads. Perform a set of Frenchies by doing the following in a half crimp position. 1 pull-up, holding at the top position for 3 seconds. Lower all the way down to an active hang. A 2nd pull-up, then lower down to a half bend and hold for 3 seconds. Lower all the way back down to an active hang. A 3rd pull-up, then lower down to a quarter bend and hold for 3 seconds. Then lower off. When you can comfortably do up to 2 sets at this finger depth, you can start decreasing the size of the holds. Start by dropping 1 pad at a time, going from 3 to 2, then 2 to 1. When 1 pad starts becoming easy, shift down by increments of millimeters by selecting the next smallest holds on your Hangboard. If you have access to a gym that has a transgression board or a campus board, these are also great tools for scaling down finger depth. Power is defined as the ability to generate a high amount of force in a short amount of time. In climbing, this is often demonstrated in the execution of hard dynamic movements. These can range anywhere from long wind-up dynos to short high-tension dead points. Notice, this is different from hard static movements, as those have a longer execution time and are thus more strength-based. The novelty of bouldering is the prevalence of hard individual moves. These are moves that feel right at your physical limit and may take several tries to execute. While frustrating, the structured practice of these hard moves, called limit bouldering, is one of the most effective ways to train and develop power. To prepare for limit bouldering, warm up thoroughly to the point where you're ready to climb your project grades. Now find a climb that's 1 or 2 grades above your red point level that has a very difficult opening sequence. These should be 1 to 3 moves that feel like they're right at your limit, meaning that there's a high chance you'll fall when trying this sequence. Give this problem 4 quality attempts. Take 4 minutes of rest between each attempt so that you give your maximum try-hard effort each time. Do this for 4 different boulder problems, resting 8 minutes between each different problem. Pick boulders that alternate the side which does the hard moves so that you get balance of effort between both arms. At the end of power is something called contact strength. This is essentially your finger's ability to recruit a high degree of strength upon contacting a hold, usually with a degree of momentum. Contact strength becomes very important in the higher grades of bouldering as you start shifting more into dynamic movements and smaller holds. The best way to practice contact strength as well as power is on the campus board. The campus board may look intimidating, but there are plenty of ways to scale the exercises for successful progress. The very first exercise is called the matching ladder, where you move up the board 1 rung at a time, with the second hand coming up to match. Do this up to the 4th rung, performing a total of 8 hand movements, then drop off. Rest for 1.5 minutes before doing the next set leading with the other hand. Once both hands have had done a set, rest for 3 minutes. The next progression is the alternating ladder, where instead of matching holds, the second hand moves to the next rung. Climb this up to the 6th rung, finishing by matching the second hand, then drop off, rest 90 seconds, and repeat for the other side. After both sides have had a go, rest for 3 minutes. The last progression is called 1-3-5, with each number indicating the target rung you're going to. You'll start off by hanging with 2 hands on the 1st rung, then campusing your lead hand up to the 3rd rung. The next move is to move the bottom hand all the way up to the 5th rung. This may be challenging at first, and a good way to help with the movement is to turn the hip in slightly on the side that is reaching. Once your second hand is on, finish off by matching, then dropping down. Rest 1.5 minutes before doing the other side, then 3 minutes before the next set. Your goal at first is to complete 3 full sets of 1-3-5. If you're failing to hit rung 5 on this exercise, scale it down a bit by doing 1-3-4 or 1-3-4.5 if available. You can also isolate the 3-5 move by starting with your hands already on 1 and 3. We spent most of this video going over the fitness and training components of climbing harder boulders, but there's also a very important technical element to focus on. In the previous videos, we went over the technique called the dead point, and now for V7s and all grades above, you'll have to work on advancing this move. Let's split this advancement down into 3 categories: precision, tension, and commitment. Precision means hitting the target hold when it has a very small window. This usually comes in the form of a small handhold or a small opening on a handhold. You'll have to practice timing the dead point so you can hit these types of holds with accuracy. Tension dead points indicate doing the move from a high degree of body tension. This can feel very similar to limit bouldering, where you're doing a hard move from a restrictive position. The body has to learn how to generate momentum while operating out of a tight box. This can feel incredibly challenging at first, but the more you practice these types of hard moves, the more your body will adapt. Commitment dead points have some overlap with precision dead points, except it requires you to go all in with the movement. This can come in the form of a big cross or a far-reaching hold. The best way to be successful with these moves is to first understand the best body position to set up from, and second, to move confidently with the expectation of latching the hold. Again, deliberate practice makes perfect. Take a moment and think back to how hard a V2 or V3 felt when you first started bouldering. Now look at the grades you're climbing. To have come this far is a big accomplishment and evident of your hard work and commitment. I know that the idea of training isn't the most fun or appealing, but if you stick with it, it will yield good results and unlock new doors. Keep working towards your goals, and until next time, move better, climb harder.